Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. It's hard to believe it's January 9th of 2024, and this will be our first video of the year. We're out on our hiking and motorbike trail, and what we're going to do is we're going to go for a trail ride, and then we're going to look at the dead trees we've had out here. Had a bunch of trees die over the last year, just all of a sudden. So anyway, we'll go for a ride and be right back. Okay, well, we got a couple of dead firs right behind us here. This one here, it's a little over 100 foot tall. And there's a smaller one directly behind it, and it'll be more difficult to take out because it's back leaning. But this one, I've got a clear path. I can drop it right back down through here. So, weather permitting, we'll be out and be cutting it up with the chainsaws. And then we got another one over here we want to show you too. Okay, well, right behind me here, another dead fir, and the top blew out of this one a while back. 35 feet blew out of it. It was really a tall tree, so we got about 85 feet left. There again, I gotta be really careful dropping it because there's a lot of other trees in the way, and there's just a nice little spot for it to drop. So I'm gonna have to hope my skills are up to the job. Anyway, we got a bunch of other small dead trees around here too, but they're too hard to get to and not anything real interesting. But these three bigger ones are definitely got to come down. So anyway, let's go talk about the Cushman. Well, this is a Cushman Trailster made by the Cushman Motor Works, Lincoln, Nebraska. They started making scooters in 1936 and made them clear through 1965. And this one belongs to my son, and he inherited it from his granddad. But Cushman scooters were something that we all had a lot of fun with and still have them. But the interesting thing about them is that virtually everything on them was made in-house. They bought out carburetors and bearings and probably seals and some of the ignition components, but the engine is completely made in-house. Even a lot of the tires were made by the same company. And there was a big boom in the trail bike market for a while. Tote Goat was the king, and Cushman was kind of the last one in, and it really wasn't the greatest off-road machine ever, but it's still fun to have. But the thing is nice about it, it has a 2-speed transmission, and there's a kit you can put on it, put road gearing on it, and you know, the way it is set up now, it does about 12 miles an hour wide open in second gear. And then, low gear is just a crawl, 5 or 6 miles an hour. When you put the road kit on it, and it goes up to 25, but it's not really good for a road machine either. It's just a lot of fun to go cruising out in the woods like we're doing today. So anyway, this one's probably a 1962, I believe. And it's got a 5-horse engine. It also came with an 8. And it's got a lighting on it. The tail light isn't on it, but there was a kit you could put on it. And it's got a Griffin headlight, but anyway, the thing that's really funny about these, especially if you go to a motorcycle meet, and guys come over, oh yeah, I got an American-made Harley. I said, no you don't. Oh yeah. And I said, well, it's assembled here. But I said, the transmission and the wheels and gauges are from offshore, and I mean, it's an assembled bike. These are actually probably the most inclusive home domestic product of any scooter ever made. And other trail scooters like the Tote Goat and the Trailblazer and many others. Some of them had transmissions, but most of them didn't, and they had a Salisbury drive. But anyway, they always used engines like, you know, had Clintons, like Briggs and Stratton, and a couple other brands. You know, so anyway, a lot of the stuff was bought out, but like I say, these were pretty much in-house. So, and the quality of the product and the materials and stuff is absolutely top-notch. You know, like the engine main bearings or Timken roller bearings, where your cheapo engines have just cheapo bushings, and has an oil pump, and connected rod bearings where, like in a Briggs or Tecumseh or Clinton, the rod is aluminum and it's actually the bearing. So like I say, these were really well built and well engineered, and a lot of features on them. So anyway, what we're going to be doing next, we're going to ride off into the distance here, and then when we come back, we'll show you our winter quarters, because the place where I was working to do a lot of filming and work on engines and stuff during the winter, the roof was leaking too bad and I can't work in there, so I put up a shed and I'm putting in a bench and a bunch of other stuff in there. And we'll see you there. Well, here we are at our temporary headquarters for the winter portable shed. So anyway, we got the floor put in. I still got a little finished work to do on it. I got to put a light in and my heater bring it in. But anyway, since the weather's going to be so bad here and wet for quite a while, we'll be doing a lot of our filming in here. Well, since we've got the workbench in here, I'm going to be working on small engines. And we got late 40s Briggs Model N. And we've got our Power Max 6 and a part saw here. So the thing these have in common, these two, is that neither one has spark. And so what we're going to be doing in an upcoming video soon, we'll be showing you how to test coils and the different types of ignition systems. And hopefully get this up. I've had this saw for a long time, but I just never took the time to find a coil for it. I think it's unusual. All the McCullochs I have, I've never had one that I use have a coil failure, but this one was that way when I got it. So anyway, nearly complete one there, but I use it as a part saw. Then the other thing I'll be doing it sometime down the road is I got to do the carburetor on this too. And then the other thing that, you know, Christmas time, everybody's around enjoying the Christmas tree and the trains and all that stuff. And the other thing, we're all eating like a bunch of pigs. So over here, we have our defluffy components. We got our stationary bicycle, a Nordic track, and behind it have a bench for doing sit-ups. The Nordic tracks have been around for a really long time, and the motions on it and stuff are like if you're cross-country skiing. So you get on here and you grab your handles here and then you work these back and forth. There's an adjustment here for tension. There's a flywheel back here. And when you get real good, then you can do this at the same time. But like I say, they've been around for a long time. They work pretty well. And since it's too wet to ride my vintage bicycles outside, that's what we use. So that'll conclude our exciting video for today. We'll see you soon. Vintage is best.